gosh, guys, this has to be a joke. A freaking Kia Soul for $13,000. Oh, it's the one with the key. Oh no, it's gonna get stolen. Hey guys, you're watching Car Market Now. Today we're gonna be checking out some places to find some good, cheap, used cars out in the wild. And I think some of these are gonna surprise you because this was not always the case, but I have been finding recently. Some of these places you can actually find some pretty decent deals, more so than what you can find even private party on like Facebook and stuff like that, and these used car lots, which are just out of their mind at the moment. So stick around, we're gonna go check out some used cars and see some pricing, and I think you'll really be surprised on what we find. All right guys, so starting off with this really nice 2017 Ford Escape. So this thing really surprised me. It had 139,000 miles, and I talked to the guy about it. It's being sold at a brand new Kia dealership, and I think you're about to see a theme here. This car, like I said, is being offered from a brand new Kia dealership for just a touch over $9,700, I believe, for 2017 with 130K miles. And it's a local trade-in, which really made me happy. And that's kind of what I want to touch on in today's videos, guys. So basically what this is telling us in a nutshell is that these dealers, instead of just pushing off their used inventory or their trade-in inventory, you know, before they were always up here higher than mighty with their new car sales, and then now new cars are getting harder to sell. You know, during the whole pandemic era, they didn't have a problem selling cars. They could get a car, they could sell a car. Where now it seems more like that they're having to struggle and fight and grit their teeth to sell these cars. So when they do make a sale and they're fortunate enough to get a decent quality trade-in, well, they're like, well, you know, we made X amount of dollars on the car, where during, you know, all that, they may have made $5,000 on a car, for example. Now they're making $1,600 on a car. These are just arbitrary numbers. But to make my point, now they're only making $1,600 on the car, and they'd send the auction car away, and they maybe made $2,000 on it, and because they bought it for $2,000 and sold it for $4,000 at auction. Yeah, that's really possible. But now they're realizing, well, hey, I can buy these decent quality trade-ins, give these people a fair deal, because I have to now to get them in my new cars. So say you bring your car to me, you want to buy this brand new SUV, you bring in your SUV, I give you $5,000 for it, you buy my SUV for $25,000. Cool, we're done, whatever. But now I can, not only did I make $1,000 off you buying my new SUV, I can now resell your used SUV instead of selling it for auction for $2,000 more minus fees and everything. So you're really not making that much after transport and everything. They're figuring out, well, hey, I can just keep this on my lot, and these people will buy these cars. You know, people need good used cars. So it fosters a situation of now we're seeing cheaper used inventory at new lots than we are at used lots. And it's really funny to me. I actually drove by, you know, circling back, there was this Chevy Sonic that I was looking at. I think it's a 2014, 2015. The years don't really matter on those cars. They're all kind of that same ugly gen. More so just using it as an example. The dealer lots car was $2,000 less than the buy here, pay here's lots car. Moral of the story here is it looks like we're seeing better pricing coming through used inventory on new lots. So keep an eye out for that. Before, we would never have saw that. They would have just sent it to auction and been done with it. But now they're realizing, hey, there's some money to be made here. And it's really great to see, because what that means for us, the used car buyers, is that now you basically have the market undercutting itself, where these dealers have first prime access to these, you know, high quality trade-ins that normally it would have went new car dealer, I'm selling them at auction, to a used car dealer, which is a buy here, pay here, and then they're going to sell them to the customer. Where now we're just flipping the middle step, and it causes the actual new car dealer to be selling these cars cheaper than the used car dealer and bypassing all the auction and everything in between. So really exciting times, you guys. Also, I just stopped by this really funny this car here. This is a Kia Soul that this owner thinks they're going to get $13,500 for, which is pretty hilarious. You know, I pulled over because I was going to make a point of sometimes there can be deals to be found on the side of the road, thinking it was $3,500, and I was like, oh well, you know, I wouldn't buy a Soul, but I mean, for $3,500 you could do worse. Nope, $13,500. People still be going crazy. So yeah, don't buy a Kia Soul, I guess. But no, just in some other instances, while we're talking on the subject of used cars, I actually haven't had that good of luck, you know, just running up on a car on the side of the road with a sign in it. And usually those cars are the ones that are pretty overpriced. I've very seldom had good luck, you know, checking out those cars and there actually be a decent deal / decent price. Most of the time, you know, Facebook Marketplace kind of rules the private party used car marketplace now, unfortunately. But I'd say if you want to snag a deal, check some of your local listing sites. Apart from that, like depending on where you are, like for instance, around here, we have something called LSN, Local Sales Network. I don't know how widespread that is, but sometimes the older generation will go post on there as opposed to Facebook just because they don't want to deal with it. And sometimes there's some quality cars on there. If not the cheapest, more so better quality, if that makes sense. Usually it's the people who have owned the car for 5, 6, 7, 8 years rather than, oh, I bought it 2 weeks ago and now I'm trying to flip it for a profit, because everybody on Facebook thinks that they're a flipper. So that's pretty fun to see. Basically the moral of the story is, if you are looking for a cheap used car in the, say, three's a little excessively low. I did see a Corolla on a brand new lot, which was really funny to me. This was a 2007 Corolla. I don't even know how it got here. Now this one probably should have went to auction because it was ugly. But it was $3,900 cash special. And I was like, bro, how did this thing get here? So it looked kind of funny. Anyway, the moral of the story is if you're looking for a car in the $3,000 to $10,000 range that you're prepared, you know, to buy used, and you're cool with that, and you're cool with the risks that come with that, and not having a warranty and all that, and whether you're paying cash or you're going to finance it, whatever, it may be worth it to you instead of looking at a buy here, pay here. If you have the credit score for it and you don't want to deal with private party sales, just because I don't blame you with that. I mean, private party, you can get a deal, but you can also really get screwed. So taking all that into account, I say definitely check out some of this used lot, or check out some of this used inventory on new car lots. If you just check your general area, I mean, of course, you can just sort it by lowest price first, and then it'll tell you what they got. And I think it'll surprise you. You'll see probably more used, depending on what ranking you want to buy in. If you're cool with 100 to 150,000 mile range, you're going to see a lot of that in your budget there. And it's really, really exciting. You know, I still don't think we're down to where we should be as far as used car market, but that'll only get better, you know, with the new car side. I also wanted to point out that I went to this Chevy dealership just kind of spying, like I said, on these cheap cars. And while I was there, I checked out some of the sales they had on that. This Chevy right here was initially $51,000. This is a Silverado. I don't know what trim it is. It's a 4-cylinder. I don't know why you buy one. But it's a 4-cylinder 2-wheel drive. It was initially $51,000. Right now it's $41,000, so just shy of $10,000 off. You know, before fees and everything. There's some little numbers in there I didn't really pay too much attention to. But I found that pretty cool to see. 41,000. I don't know. I don't trust that 4-cylinder in a big old truck like that. I'd probably sooner go with a Frontier, especially seeing, like in our last video, the deals on that. But to see them offering some incentives is pretty neat. And the scary thing is I knew this truck has had incentives on it for maybe 3 weeks now, and it still hasn't moved. So that shows where the market is for sure. Failing that though, I did actually talk about some other cars that I want to bring up in a separate video entirely, but the Buick Envista and Chevy Trax, they can't keep those cars in stock. I talked to him about that, one of the other sales guys there, and he was saying they are moving. And it is true. I stopped by there without a camera or anything just to drive through and see what they had maybe 2 days ago. And they had 2 Trax and an Envista. And I was like, okay, you know, and they were good models too. They were the closer to base models. So I think one was like 22, the Traxes were like 22 a piece, and the Envista was like 25, 26. Yeah, I went there today, they're all gone. So that shows that car is really hitting, you know, home, and it's in its perfect place in the market, where you're going to get some of these buyers who are trying to buy a full-size SUV but don't want to spend the money for it. So really cool to see. But yeah, guys, pretty much moral of the story, if you're looking for a cheap used car in the $3,000 to $10,000 range, 3 is a little probably low, say 5 to 10 just to be safe, and you want something that is hopefully been inspected, which most of the time the new car lots are. They're inspected. Sometimes they offer some kind of, you know, additional warranty package that you can add if you're comfortable with that and want to explore that option. I have seen better incentives overall through these new car lots just because they have a bigger footprint and you know, more market share that they're able to do these things. So definitely keep that in mind. And 2, you got to keep in mind, depending on the kind of car you want, here's my strategy for it. It's not foolproof by any means, but you can kind of pick and choose who your previous owner of the car was, if that makes sense. So if you think about the kind of person who would buy a Hyundai versus the kind of person to buy a Toyota, not knocking on either brand, but that'll kind of tell you how they treated their car to a point. I mean, there's bad owners on both sides, but you know, if I was looking at something that was traded in at a Lexus dealership, say for argument's sake, I'm looking for a 2018 Chevy Silverado, right? And one was traded into a Hyundai dealership and one was traded into a Lexus dealership. Well, I'd sooner, and they were both similar pricing, I'd sooner go check out the one at the Lexus dealership, just because that obviously means that they had deeper pockets to inevitably buy a Lexus. So you can kind of game the system in that way too, so don't be afraid to shop around and see what's out there. So the biggest takeaway from this, guys, is that there is used inventory moving into new lots at good prices, that they're not taking to auction, they're cutting out the middleman, and they're just saying, you know what, we're just going to sell it ourselves. And it's working out for them and it's working out for us. We're able to get decent cars at decent prices, and the dealerships are making money too. And it's cutting out, you know, auction fees and, you know, scummy buy here, pay here's. So yeah, I'm really happy to see where we're going. Tune in next week. We'll go try to go over some other stuff. Thank you guys so much for the support. I'm amazed that first video got so many views since I've been back. I made a couple before, but I'm trying to get serious in it now. So to see all the views just piling up is really incredible. I'm very, very excited for the future of the channel. So yeah, guys, if you really don't mind, please like, subscribe, and comment. If you've seen any deals out there, definitely let me know that in the comments. But mainly so subscribe, just because I'm trying to build up the fan base here. If you really don't mind, that would be awesome. Just to see where we can take this. So thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it, and you have a great rest of your day. New video on Tuesday.